Unveiling the Shadows of Hoia Baciu, a journey into Romania's most haunted forest nestled in the heart of Transylvania, a land synonymous with vampires and ancient legends, lies a forest shrouded in mystery and fear, Hoia Baciu. Known as one of the most haunted places on Earth, this eerie woodland has long beckoned those brave enough to explore its shadowy depths. The mere mention of its name conjures images of ghostly apparitions, chilling whispers carried through the trees, and an unsettling energy that seems to permeate every leaf and branch. To wander through Hoia Baciu is not just to step into a forest but to enter a realm where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs, leaving even the most skeptical visitor questioning their own senses. Hoia Baciu's reputation as a paranormal hotspot is no modern fabrication. It stretches back centuries, woven into local folklore and whispered tales passed down through generations. The forest's dark allure stems from countless reports of unexplained phenomena, from strange orbs of light dancing among the trees to eerie figures glimpsed in the foggy underbrush. Locals speak of disembodied voices echoing through the stillness, while others recount harrowing stories of people vanishing without a trace, only to reappear days later with no memory of what transpired. These accounts are not isolated incidents but rather threads in a tapestry of terror that makes Hoia Baciu a magnet for thrill seekers, researchers, and those drawn to the unknown. What sets Hoia Baciu apart from other haunted locations is not merely its reputation but the sheer volume of documented encounters that defy rational explanation. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the site, armed with cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic field detectors, all in pursuit of evidence to validate the claims. And yet, despite decades of study, the forest continues to resist easy answers, leaving more questions than solutions in its wake. Even seasoned explorers admit that there is something uniquely unnerving about Hoia Baciu, a palpable sense of being watched, an inexplicable chill that lingers long after you leave its confines. This article ventures deep into the heart of Hoia Baciu, unraveling the layers of legend and lore that make it such a compelling subject for horror enthusiasts. From historical accounts of disappearances to first-hand testimonies of supernatural encounters, we will delve into the stories that have cemented this forest's place in the annals of the paranormal. But beyond the tales lies a deeper exploration of why Hoia Baciu captivates us so completely. What is it about this place that stirs our primal fears and ignites our fascination with the macabre? As we peel back the veil of mystery surrounding Hoia Baciu, prepare yourself for an immersive journey into darkness, one that promises to chill your blood and challenge everything you thought you knew about the boundaries of the natural world. A tapestry of terror. Historical accounts of hauntings in Hoia Baciu. The haunting legacy of Hoia Baciu Forest is deeply rooted in its history, with numerous documented cases that span several decades, each contributing to its ominous reputation. One of the earliest recorded incidents dates back to the 1960s when a group of foresters reported seeing a spectral figure gliding silently among the trees. This apparition, described as a tall, cloaked figure with glowing eyes, was seen multiple times over the years, always at dusk when the forest's shadows stretched longest. The sightings were initially dismissed as tricks of the light or overactive imaginations, but as similar descriptions emerged independently from different groups of witnesses, skepticism began to wane. In the 1970s, Hoia Baciu gained further notoriety when a young girl named Maria disappeared during a school trip. Her classmates reported hearing her scream but found no trace of her despite extensive searches. Days later, Maria reappeared near the edge of the forest, disoriented and unable to recall any details of her disappearance. She exhibited signs of severe trauma, including unexplained scratches covering her body and a stark aversion to returning to the forest. This incident sparked widespread media attention and prompted the first official investigations into the area's purported supernatural activity. The 1980s brought a wave of sightings linked to Hoia Baciu, adding another layer of intrigue to its already enigmatic aura. Multiple witnesses claimed to have seen strange, luminous objects hovering above the treetops, often accompanied by a humming sound that seemed to resonate within their very bones. Some reported feelings of intense heat and dizziness upon encountering these lights, while others experienced temporary paralysis, unable to move until the phenomenon had passed. Photographs taken during these events revealed peculiar distortions in the images, suggesting some form of electromagnetic interference unique to the forest environment. Entering the new millennium, the frequency and intensity of reported hauntings appeared to escalate. In 2005, a team of paranormal investigators captured audio recordings of what they believed to be spirit voices emanating from the forest. They managed to isolate distinct phrases spoken in languages unfamiliar to the team members. Linguists later identified some of the words as belonging to archaic dialects, fueling speculations about ancient spirits trapped within the woods. These findings were corroborated by thermal imaging devices that detected sudden drops in temperature coinciding with the vocal manifestations, providing tangible evidence of the forest's chilling embrace. Perhaps the most chilling account comes from 2010, when a local man ventured into Hoia Baciu late one night, driven by curiosity and bravado. He returned hours later, pale and trembling, speaking of an overwhelming presence that pursued him relentlessly through the trees. According to his testimony, he felt invisible hands clawing at his back and heard guttural whispers urging him to turn around. When pressed for specifics, he could only describe the entity as something ancient and hateful. His experience was corroborated by medical professionals who noted elevated stress markers and psychological distress consistent with extreme fear responses. These documented cases represent just a fraction of the myriad stories associated with Hoia Baciu. Each account adds another thread to the intricate tapestry of terror woven throughout the forest's history. Together, they paint a picture of a place where the boundary between the living and the dead, the earthly and the extraterrestrial, becomes perilously thin. As we delve deeper into the personal testimonies of those brave, or foolhardy, enough to venture into this haunted expanse, the true scope of Hoia Baciu's malevolent influence begins to emerge, challenging our understanding of reality itself. First-hand testimonies of Hoia Baciu's hauntings. To truly grasp the spine-chilling essence of Hoia Baciu, one must listen to the voices of those who have dared to tread its haunted paths. Their first-hand accounts are not merely anecdotes, but vivid recollections of encounters that linger long after the experience itself has ended. These stories are raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal, offering a glimpse into the psychological toll exacted by the forest's eerie grip. One such witness is Andrea, a freelance photographer who ventured into Hoia Baciu in search of inspiration for her next project. Armed with her camera and a flashlight, she entered the forest on a moonlit night, unaware of the ordeal that awaited her. It started subtly, she recounts, her voice trembling even years later. At first, it was just the feeling of being watched, which I chalked up to nerves. But then the whispers began. She describes faint murmurs, almost imperceptible at first, that grew louder and more insistent as she moved deeper into the woods. They weren't in any language I recognized, but they sounded angry, like they wanted me to leave, or worse. Andrea attempted to capture the sounds on her recorder, but when she reviewed the footage later, the audio was distorted beyond comprehension, filled with static and an unsettling low-frequency hum. I ran out of there as fast as I could, she admits. But even now, I can still hear those voices in my dreams. Another harrowing tale comes from Radu, a university student fascinated by the paranormal. Along with two friends, he decided to spend a night in Hoia Baciu, equipped with cameras and meters. We thought we were prepared, he says, shaking his head. But nothing could have prepared us for what happened. Around midnight, their equipment began malfunctioning simultaneously, a bizarre occurrence given that none of their devices shared a common power source. Then came the cold. It wasn't just chilly, it was freezing, like someone had opened a door to the Arctic, Radu recalls. And then we saw them. Emerging from the mist were shadowy figures, humanoid in shape but indistinct, their forms flickering like faulty holograms. They didn't attack us or anything, but they kept getting closer, and every step they took felt like they were draining the air out of my lungs. Panicked, the trio fled the forest, abandoning much of their gear in the process. I haven't been able to sleep properly since, Radu confesses. Every time I close my eyes, I see those shapes moving toward me. For others, the forest's influence manifests in more subtle but equally disturbing ways. Elena, a local tour guide, has led countless groups through Hoia Baciu, dismissing the rumors as mere superstition, until one fateful evening. I was alone, doing a routine check of the trail," she explains. "Suddenly, I felt this overwhelming sadness wash over me, like I'd lost something irreplaceable. Compelled by an inexplicable force, she wandered off the path and stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an unnatural green glow. There, she says, she encountered a woman dressed in tattered clothing, her face obscured by a veil of shadow. She reached out to me, and I swear I felt her touch, cold and clammy, on my arm," Elena recounts. "Then she vanished, and the glow disappeared. I don't know who or what she was, but I haven't been able to shake the feeling that she wanted me to remember something. Something terrible." These personal testimonies reveal not only the variety of experiences within Hoia Baciu but also their profound emotional impact. Many witnesses report symptoms akin to post-traumatic stress disorder, recurring nightmares, heightened anxiety, and a persistent sense of dread. Psychologists who have studied these accounts suggest that the forest may act as a catalyst for latent fears, amplifying them to unbearable levels. Others propose that the sheer isolation and sensory deprivation inherent to dense woodland environments could trigger hallucinations or dissociative states. Yet, even these explanations fail to fully account for the consistency and specificity of the phenomena described. What emerges from these first-hand narratives is a portrait of a place that defies rational understanding. Whether viewed through the lens of psychology, folklore, or the paranormal, Hoia Baciu remains a crucible of human emotion and existential unease. Its victims are left grappling not only with what they witnessed but also with the lingering question of whether the forest merely reflects their inner demons, or if something far darker resides within its tangled depths. Scientific investigations and explanations of Hoia Baciu's mysteries. The enigma of Hoia Baciu Forest has not escaped the scrutiny of science, with researchers employing a range of methodologies to probe its mysterious phenomena. While skeptics argue that many of the forest's reported hauntings can be attributed to natural causes, others contend that certain elements remain unexplainable, even in light of rigorous scientific inquiry. Among the most compelling studies are those conducted by teams specializing in electromagnetic field analysis, thermal imaging, and environmental psychology, each contributing valuable insights into the possible mechanisms behind the forest's eerie reputation. One prominent investigation involved the use of advanced detectors to measure fluctuations in electromagnetic fields throughout Hoia Baciu. Researchers hypothesized that high levels of activity, particularly in areas associated with frequent paranormal reports. However, while these findings lend credence to the idea that some experiences might stem from environmental factors, they do not entirely account for the full spectrum of phenomena observed. For instance, the abrupt cessation of electronic devices and the appearance of anomalous lights defy simple explanations tied solely to electromagnetic interference. Thermal imaging technology has also played a pivotal role in exploring Hoia Baciu's mysteries. Infrared cameras deployed during nighttime expeditions have captured startling visuals, including sudden drops in temperature localized to specific zones within the forest. These cold spots often coincide with eyewitness accounts of ghostly apparitions or sensations of being touched by unseen entities. While conventional explanations point to microclimates or drafts created by the dense canopy, the precision and unpredictability of these temperature anomalies raise questions about their true origin. Moreover, thermal imaging has occasionally revealed humanoid shapes moving through the trees, shapes that vanish upon closer inspection, leaving researchers puzzled. Environmental psychologists have offered another perspective, focusing on how the forest's unique geography and atmosphere might influence human perception. Hoia Baciu's dense foliage, uneven terrain, and pervasive silence create an environment ripe for sensory deprivation, which can lead to heightened suggestibility and altered states of consciousness. Studies conducted in controlled settings have demonstrated that prolonged exposure to such conditions can result in vivid hallucinations, auditory distortions, and a distorted sense of time, all hallmarks of the experiences reported by visitors to the forest. This line of reasoning provides a plausible framework for understanding why so many individuals perceive supernatural occurrences in Hoia Baciu. Yet, it falls short of explaining the physical evidence, such as inexplicable injuries, missing persons cases, and photographic anomalies, that cannot be easily dismissed as products of the mind. Despite these advances in scientific methodology, definitive conclusions about Hoia Baciu remain elusive. Skeptics continue to advocate for naturalistic interpretations, pointing to geological features, meteorological patterns, and psychological biases as potential culprits. Meanwhile, proponents of the paranormal argue that the convergence of so many unexplained phenomena in one location suggests the presence of forces beyond current scientific comprehension. The debate underscores a fundamental tension. Can the mysteries of Hoia Baciu be reduced to measurable, observable phenomena, or do they hint at dimensions of reality that elude empirical investigation? Ultimately, the scientific exploration of Hoia Baciu serves as both a testament to human curiosity and a reminder of the limits of our knowledge. While researchers have made strides in demystifying certain aspects of the forest's haunting reputation, much remains unresolved. It is this interplay between evidence and enigma that keeps Hoia Baciu firmly entrenched in the collective imagination, inviting further inquiry and fueling the enduring fascination with its shadowy depths. Common themes and patterns in Hoia Baciu's hauntings. The haunting phenomena associated with Hoia Baciu Forest are as varied as they are unsettling, yet amidst the chaos of individual experiences, certain recurring themes and patterns begin to emerge. These consistencies offer a tantalizing glimpse into the nature of the forest's malevolent energy, suggesting that its manifestations are not random, but instead follow a discernible logic. By analyzing these patterns, we can piece together a clearer, if still incomplete, picture of the forces at play within this enigmatic woodland point. One of the most prevalent themes is the sensation of being watched. Nearly every account from visitors to Hoia Baciu includes descriptions of an oppressive, unshakable feeling that unseen eyes are fixed upon them. This sense of surveillance is often accompanied by physical symptoms such as chills, goosebumps, or a tightening in the chest, as though the weight of the forest's gaze is pressing down. What makes this phenomenon particularly intriguing is its universality. It transcends age, gender, and cultural background, affecting even those who enter the forest with no prior belief in the supernatural. Some researchers speculate that this pervasive feeling might be linked to the forest's unique topography, where the dense canopy and twisting pathways create an environment conducive to paranoia. However, the intensity and specificity of the sensation, often described as directed and purposeful, suggests something more deliberate at work. Another striking pattern is the prevalence of auditory disturbances. Visitors frequently report hearing disembodied voices, whispers, or indistinct murmurs emanating from the trees. These sounds are typically soft and intermittent, growing louder and more intelligible as one ventures deeper into the forest. Interestingly, the voices seem to adapt to the listener's proximity, as though responding to their presence. Some claim to hear their names called in tones ranging from pleading to menacing, while others describe incomprehensible phrases spoken in languages they do not recognize. Attempts to capture these vocalizations on recording devices have yielded mixed results. While some EVP sessions produce clear, albeit cryptic, messages, others result in garbled noise or complete silence. This inconsistency raises questions about whether the sounds originate externally or are somehow generated within the minds of those who hear them. Visual phenomena constitute a third major theme, with shadowy figures and apparitions being among the most commonly reported sightings. Witnesses describe encountering humanoid silhouettes that move erratically through the trees, often vanishing when approached. These figures are typically described as featureless, their forms blurred or shifting, as though they exist on the cusp of visibility. In some cases, visitors have reported seeing fully formed apparitions, including women in tattered clothing, soldiers in old-fashioned uniforms, and children wandering aimlessly. The recurrence of these specific archetypes hints at a connection to the forest's storied past, perhaps reflecting residual energies tied to historical events or tragedies. Alternatively, these visions could represent attempts by the forest's unseen inhabitants to communicate, or intimidate, the living. Equally significant is the occurrence of physical interactions, which blur the boundary between subjective experience and objective reality. Many visitors recount instances of being touched, pushed, or grabbed by invisible hands. These tactile sensations are often accompanied by visible marks, such as scratches, bruises, or burns, appearing on the skin without apparent cause. Such incidents add a visceral dimension to the forest's haunting reputation, forcing witnesses to confront the possibility that whatever dwells within Hoia Baciu is not merely passive but actively engaged with its surroundings. The consistency of these reports challenges purely psychological explanations, suggesting that the forest exerts a tangible influence over those who enter its domain. Finally, temporal distortions form a recurring motif in the lore of Hoia Baciu. Numerous accounts describe time behaving strangely within the forest, with minutes stretching into hours or vice versa. Visitors have reported losing track of time entirely, only to discover upon exiting the woods that far longer, or shorter, periods have elapsed than expected. This phenomenon aligns with broader theories about liminal spaces, areas that exist outside conventional notions of time and space. Hoia Baciu's dense foliage, labyrinthine trails, and lack of landmarks may contribute to this disorienting effect, yet the precision with which these distortions occur, often corresponding to moments of heightened paranormal activity, implies a deeper mechanism at play. Taken together, these themes and patterns paint a portrait of Hoia Baciu as a place where the rules of reality are bent, if not broken. The forest haunting phenomena operate according to a logic that defies easy categorization, oscillating between the psychological and the physical, the natural and the supernatural. Whether viewed as residual energy, intelligent entities, or some combination thereof, the forces at work within Hoia Baciu share a common thread: they are adaptive, responsive, and profoundly unsettling. Understanding these patterns offers not just insight into the mechanics of the forest's hauntings but also a sobering reminder of humanity's vulnerability in the face of the unknown. The cultural echoes of Hoia Baciu, influence on media and popular culture. The haunting allure of Hoia Baciu Forest has transcended its geographical boundaries, embedding itself deeply into global folklore and popular culture. This Romanian woodland, steeped in eerie tales and supernatural occurrences, has become a fertile ground for artistic expression and storytelling across various media platforms. From literature and film to television and digital content, the forest's mystique has inspired creators worldwide, shaping narratives that resonate with audiences hungry for the macabre and the mysterious. In literature, Hoia Baciu has served as a backdrop for numerous novels and short stories that weave its chilling atmosphere into plots filled with suspense and terror. Authors have capitalized on the forest's reputation, crafting narratives where the boundaries between the real and the supernatural blur, drawing readers into a world where every rustle of leaves could herald an encounter with the unknown. These literary works often highlight the psychological impact of the forest on characters, mirroring the real-life testimonials of those who ventured into its depths. The forest thus becomes not just a setting, but a character in its own right, influencing the actions and fates of those who dare to enter. Film and television have similarly embraced the haunting essence of Hoia Baciu, bringing its ghostly tales to life on screen. Documentaries exploring the forest's mysteries have gained popularity, offering viewers a glimpse into the eerie happenings through interviews with locals and experts, alongside footage of the forest's shadowy landscapes. Feature films and TV series have dramatized its legends, using cinematic techniques to amplify the suspense and fear associated with the location. Directors and producers exploit the visual and auditory elements intrinsic to Hoia Baciu, such as the dense fog and whispering winds, to create a palpable sense of dread that captivates audiences. Moreover, the digital age has expanded Hoia Baciu's reach, with online platforms becoming conduits for spreading its haunting tales globally. Social media and blogs buzz with posts from enthusiasts and skeptics alike, sharing personal accounts, research findings, and speculative theories about the forest's paranormal activities. YouTube, in particular, hosts a plethora of videos ranging from amateur explorations to professionally produced documentaries, each adding a layer to the forest's digital folklore. Podcasts dedicated to the paranormal frequently feature episodes on Hoia Baciu, dissecting its history and hauntings, thereby engaging listeners in detailed discussions that further entrench the forest's status in contemporary horror culture. The influence of Hoia Baciu extends beyond entertainment, impacting tourism and local economies. The forest's notorious reputation attracts thrill-seekers and paranormal investigators from around the globe, eager to experience its chilling ambience firsthand. Local businesses capitalize on this influx, offering guided tours, themed accommodations, and merchandise centered around the forest's eerie allure. This economic boost underscores the symbiotic relationship between cultural fascination and commercial exploitation, where the forest's haunted legacy fuels industries that cater to the curious and the courageous. Through these multifaceted influences, Hoia Baciu has cemented its place in the pantheon of legendary haunted locales, inspiring a diverse array of cultural expressions that continue to evolve. Its ability to inspire fear and fascination ensures that the forest remains a potent symbol in the collective consciousness, perpetuating its mythos across generations and geographies. As media and popular culture continually reinterpret and reimagine its haunting tales, Hoia Baciu's spectral legacy thrives, proving that the shadows of this Romanian forest stretch far beyond its physical bounds. Psychological and emotional impact of Hoia Baciu's hauntings. The psychological and emotional aftermath of encountering the supernatural within Hoia Baciu Forest is as profound as it is enduring. The testimonies of those who have braved its depths reveal a complex web of reactions, ranging from acute fear and paranoia to long-term psychological distress. The forest, with its eerie whispers and shadowy figures, does not merely unsettle its visitors momentarily. It leaves an indelible mark on their psyche, altering perceptions and instilling a pervasive sense of dread that lingers long after they have left its confines. Immediate psychological responses to the forest's haunting phenomena are often characterized by intense fear and anxiety. Visitors frequently recount a paralyzing sense of terror that grips them upon hearing disembodied voices or witnessing inexplicable movements in the shadows. This fear is compounded by the forest's oppressive atmosphere, where the dense canopy and twisted roots seem to conspire to trap the unwary. The resultant claustrophobia and heightened alertness can trigger fight-or-flight responses, leading to panic attacks and erratic behavior. Such acute stress reactions are not uncommon in environments perceived as threatening, yet the specificity and intensity of these responses in Hoia Baciu suggest a deeper, more sinister influence at play. Beyond immediate fear, the emotional toll of experiencing the forest's hauntings can manifest in profound psychological effects. Many individuals report suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, symptoms following their visits, including recurrent nightmares, flashbacks, and intrusive thoughts about their encounters. The persistent feeling of being watched or followed, even miles away from the forest, plagues survivors, disrupting their daily lives and peace of mind. These lingering sensations often lead to chronic anxiety and hypervigilance, as individuals struggle to reconcile their experiences with reality. The inability to rationalize or explain what they have witnessed compounds their distress, fostering a sense of helplessness and vulnerability. The impact extends beyond individual sufferers to affect interpersonal relationships and social dynamics. Those who return from Hoia Baciu often find themselves isolated, as friends and family struggle to comprehend their experiences. The skepticism and disbelief encountered can exacerbate feelings of alienation and mistrust, pushing individuals further into solitude. Moreover, the stigma attached to claiming supernatural encounters can deter victims from seeking help, leaving them to grapple with their trauma in silence. This isolation can deepen depression and anxiety, creating a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. Furthermore, the psychological scars inflicted by Hoia Baciu's hauntings can alter an individual's worldview and beliefs. Confronted with phenomena that defy logical explanation, many visitors undergo a crisis of faith or belief system. Some develop a heightened awareness of the supernatural, becoming convinced of the existence of otherworldly forces. Others, however, retreat into skepticism, questioning the reliability of their senses and memories. This cognitive dissonance can lead to existential crises, as individuals wrestle with the implications of their experiences on their understanding of reality. The emotional resonance of Hoia Baciu's hauntings also taps into universal fears and primal instincts. The forest's ability to evoke such strong reactions speaks to its mastery in exploiting basic human anxieties: fear of the unknown, fear of death, and fear of losing control. By confronting visitors with situations that challenge their perceptions and safety, Hoia Baciu taps into deep-seated fears that are hardwired into the human psyche. This manipulation of innate fears not only heightens the immediate terror experienced but also ensures that the memory of the encounter remains etched in the mind, resurfacing during moments of stress or vulnerability. In essence, the psychological and emotional impact of Hoia Baciu's hauntings is a testament to the forest's formidable power over the human mind. It is not merely a place of physical danger but a crucible of psychological torment, where the boundaries between fear and reality blur. The forest preys on the vulnerabilities of those who dare to enter, leaving them scarred and shaken, their lives forever altered by the shadows that linger in its depths. As each story unfolds, the true extent of Hoia Baciu's influence becomes increasingly apparent, underscoring its status as a locus of terror that continues to haunt both mind and soul. The enduring enigma of Hoia Baciu, a nexus of fear, mystery, and human curiosity as we bring this exploration of Hoia Baciu Forest to a close. It is impossible to ignore the profound paradox that defines its haunting legacy. On one hand, it stands as a place of unparalleled terror, a crucible of fear where the boundaries between the known and the unknowable dissolve into shadow. On the other, it is a beacon of fascination, drawing countless souls to its depths in search of answers, or perhaps, simply the thrill of confronting the unknown. This duality, this coexistence of dread and desire, is what makes Hoia Baciu not just a haunted forest but a mirror reflecting humanity's most primal instincts and deepest curiosities. The significance of Hoia Baciu extends far beyond its reputation as a paranormal hotspot. It is a living testament to the enduring power of mystery in an age dominated by science and reason. Despite centuries of investigation, technological advancements, and countless first-hand accounts, the forest refuses to yield its secrets. Its resistance to explanation is not a failure of human ingenuity, but rather a reminder of the vastness of the unknown that still surrounds us. In a world where answers are often prized above questions, Hoia Baciu dares us to embrace uncertainty, to sit with discomfort and acknowledge that some enigmas may never be solved. This, perhaps, is its greatest gift, the invitation to wonder, to imagine, and to confront the limits of our understanding. Yet, Hoia Baciu's allure is not merely intellectual. It taps into something far more visceral, a deep-seated human yearning to connect with the unseen, the forbidden, and the extraordinary. The forest's chilling phenomena, its whispers, shadows, and inexplicable occurrences, speak directly to the part of us that craves transcendence, that longs to pierce the veil between worlds. For many, venturing into Hoia Baciu is not an act of bravery or recklessness but a pilgrimage of sorts, a journey into the heart of darkness that mirrors the internal landscapes of fear and longing we all carry within us. It is a place where the mundane dissolves, leaving only raw emotion and the stark confrontation with forces beyond our control. What makes Hoia Baciu truly remarkable, however, is not its capacity to terrify but its ability to unite. Across cultures, languages, and generations, its stories resonate because they speak to universal themes: the fragility of human perception, the inevitability of fear, and the unyielding quest for meaning. Whether through whispered legends passed down by Romanian villagers or viral videos shared by modern thrill-seekers, the forest's influence transcends borders, binding disparate individuals in a shared experience of awe and trepidation. In doing so, it reminds us that fear, though isolating in its immediacy, is ultimately a collective human condition, one that connects us to each other as much as it separates us from the comfort of certainty. As we step away from the tangled paths and shadowed glades of Hoia Baciu, let us carry with us not just the chill of its hauntings but the questions it inspires. What lies beyond the edge of our understanding? What truths might we uncover if we dare to look closer at the things that frighten us? And perhaps most importantly, what does it mean to be human in a world where mystery still holds dominion? Hoia Baciu does not provide answers, nor should it. Its value lies in its ability to provoke thought, to stir emotions, and to remind us that the unknown is not something to be conquered but something to be respected, and, at times, cherished. So, whether you approach Hoia Baciu as a skeptic, a believer, or simply a curious observer, remember this: its shadows are not just figments of folklore or tricks of the mind. They are reflections of ourselves, our fears, our hopes, and our endless desire to peer into the abyss. And in that act of looking, we find not monsters, but mirrors.